You don't ever know what you're gonna combine up out in the field. I don't know what kind of critter. I don't know what kind that was. Don't do that. She'll be toting it around. Okay, guys. Getting a fairly early start this morning. I don't like but 8 acres on this farm. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Wind been blowing pretty steady. We don't need to be running in road gear. So let's see what we can get knocked out. These are some more beans that water got up in them. Be looking for chunks, driftwood. Embed the good ground over there on the other side of the pond. Robert said he found a frigate, it floated a log up in it. It's gonna be kind of iffy whether the bend holds all that truckload Robert's unloading. Ain't about 6. Please tell me I jumped over that. Yeah. About 500 acres. 500 acres. I wish we had. Money wise, I wish we had 500 more acres of beans cut. Ready to be done. The side of me that's ready to be done ain't ready for another 500 acres. I don't know. Oh, quit. Dang it. Trapped. We got about 8 to 10 inches there in one day in August. I don't know why we couldn't have got half of that in September. Man, don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with my double crop beans, but man, we'd have had a dragon somewhere. Like it's gonna fight us today, guys. We'll pick him back up in a minute. This is the only trouble we've had out of this hay. Rope section. Normally it don't take much to get it back turning. Let's get all that loose dirt from out from under it. So it's your turn now. goes. Alright. Back operational. Y'all see that water down there? Yeah, there you go. We just went by the corner of the combine. This farm right here is full of springs. You know, them springs I was telling you about the night before is just right across the ditch here. All this up and down this creek has got a bunch of springs in it. And just so y'all know how much water them springs produce, we have not had a real rain since August the 23rd. And them springs are still producing enough water that they're bubbling up to the top of the ground. It's pretty impressive how much water they will produce. But you know, even though they had springs on it, we lost some weight around them springs, but we made a good wheat crop off this farm. Really good, actually. And I think the beans did a lot better being planted later than us being in here trying to plant them in May in the mud. You know, we planted them in June with the right conditions. I keep hearing people talk about early planted soybeans. But actually, we produce our best deal. This is on my farm, so I mean, if somebody else does it and works, I can't make it work. I ain't figured it out. But actually, on our farm, about when we normally cut our best beans, the best planted beans, it's about Memorial Day to June. That's when we typically have our best bean yield planting them. Can't explain it. It seems like to me, them darn April beans, all they're interested in is just getting viney. If you're gonna plant early planted soybeans, you need to find a way to burn them back, stack them nodes up. But you can see here where the water got in these beans and shortened them up, and there's some of the, you know, they're cutting a lot better than them big beans. Y'all see that? That is a tree, a log, out in the middle of the field. Yep. He looked like a caveman with his, looked like a caveman with a club. Would you shut up? Gosh, you won't talk about a vaping, griping son of a gun.
So here we are on the last, can't remember if it's 16 or 18 acres. So this is the last farm of soybeans for 2023. Dylan's done with his crop. We got done with it last night. But this is my farm that I picked up at the last moment. Guy called me and when we was cutting weight, asked if I wanted to rent it. Said sure. So we got to plant beans on it this year, or I did, and done cut 6 acres of it. That's what it looks like so far. pretty rolling farm. I don't remember it rolling so much, but it's a good little farm. Beans are doing fair. I think they'll pick up. I got the worst of them cut, I think. So gonna hopefully, knock on wood, wind it up if the Lord allows it. It's right next to the Dyer golf course here, so maybe I won't get hit with no golf balls. Might go play around the golf afterwards. So here we are on the last, should be about 3.5 acres left of harvest 2023. Just some initial thoughts. Was it a record-breaking year? No. Is it going to be a good year? I believe so. And that's all you can ask for. Ask for good years. I think going to make some money this year. You know, been blessed this year. God's blessed us, looked out for us. So, you know, it's been a dry year. Well, it's been a dry fall, I'll say that. I could have used a couple of more rains, and I think we would have had a phenomenal bean crop. But these beans have exceeded what we have done expected, especially the wheat beans. They coming into double crop soybeans, we didn't know what to expect, but they surprised us. Still got 90 acres of wheat to go. Hopefully knock that out today, or not today, tomorrow and Friday. Calling for some rain this weekend and kind of hoping we get it. The wheat that we do got drilled and planted could use a rain. It's coming up. It's just spotty, coming up in the low areas. So a good rain would help it come on up. So.
Good afternoon from the bean field. What's about to be a wheat field. Out here doing a little leveling before we go into the wheat. We done some dirt work on this farm in 2020 and just never got it, you know, kind of leveled it up with the box plate and stuff, and we've been no-tilling it. But this was in desperate need of some leveling up. This field beat me to death on the sprayer this year. Extremely rough. And I got tired of riding over it with the sprayer. You can tell I'm putting a real hard angle on it. Kind of going with that fence row over there. And then I'm going to come back and run it in the direction we run the rows. What we're trying to do, we're trying to push that dirt, cut across them humps, and then just smooth it back up. Like right here, there's a pipe buried right there, and you can see a sprayer run. Just where we buried that pipe is settled in, and stuff like that. Of course, that's a PTO ditch. We'll have to come in here and freshen that back up. But just smoothing this field up where it'll be a little easier on our equipment is our main objective here.
This draper is definitely made bean harvest more enjoyable. Combine ain't sitting there grunting and moaning, and everything's just feeding in there. Like the extra width. Now we get 3 foot, going 25 foot versus 22 foot. And I especially love it in wheat straw. I mean, it just sits there and glides on that wheat straw. And the myths and the rumors that you can cut an hour later with it than you can with an auger header, I believe they are true. Because we cut till almost 9 o'clock last night. And you could tell them beans were starting to get a little tough, but that draper just kept on cutting them and feeding them. And most time, if it drags up, it's the operator's area. Normally we got too much down pressure on the cutter bar. But what I'll do is I just let that, as soon as that cutter bar hits the ground, I let up, and it's got a tremendous amount of flex on it. But got several more projects coming up after harvest. Just because harvest is over doesn't mean the work's done. Gotta put the radiator back in the blue truck, fix the lights on the blade tractor, gotta put the blade on it, go around, start pushing some limbs, probably hook the push hog up, do some mowing. Like to get some fall tillage done. We had some lime spread. We'd like to get it incorporated. Swing motor in the track hole, need to get the track hole running. And he said something about renting a dozer, so we'll probably get a dozer rented, work on some projects, do some dirt work. I don't think we got anything that really needs the pan this fall. Most time we got a big dirt working project in the fall, but I don't think, as far as I know, most everything's in good shape. Guys start getting equipment cleaned up. So just because harvest is over doesn't mean the work stops. There's a lot more content to come, a lot more stuff to do. So we're getting to the point in the year that at 5 o'clock we can go home. No more late nights. But time's going to change next weekend, I believe, or weekend after, first weekend in November. Today's the 25th, I believe. 25th of October. Alright, all we like is this little triangle, and that'll be it. I think on the newer combines, the 50s and the 60s, the grain tank just beeps at you. It ain't a constant buzz. And there it is. Harvest is kind of like a good looking woman. You hate to see her go, but love to watch her leave. So that's what harvest is like to me. I'm grateful to be done. But I love running a combine. Kind of gonna go. Now I gotta wait a whole year before I get to run it again. But called it 15.7 acres. I thought it was 16 here. They were planted out 16. So we'll call it 16. Good morning. It is Thursday, October the 26th, and we are out here fixing to drill the last 90 acres. Dylan's taking the disc and leveling up a few spots where we kind of tracked it down with the sprayer and where we done some dirt work over the years. But I'm checking the oil in the tractor, gonna let it crank up, be warming up and getting all my GPS stuff going, and we'll be ready to drill some wheat. We got auto steer set up, planter monitor set up, field view set up. I guess if the old saying is true, if you plant in the dust, your bins will bust. We ought to have one stellar wheat crop next year. We are stirring up the dust. But we're auto steering. We're planting. Dylan's disking. Dusty. It's cool when you get to work in the same field together. I know you get in each other's way sometimes, but I don't know, it's just cool to me. I will, well, everyone knows I am a John Deere man, but I tell you what, Case IH makes some good tillage tools. That 496 is doing a good job, doing a pretty job too. I like Case IH tillage equipment. It just needs to be pulled by a John Deere tractor. We even have a Case IH auto steer, so we're not all John Deere. Would like to put a Green Star in here though one day. Yeah, that's bald eagle. Feeding on a dead deer. Or is it just a whitehead or buzzard? No, that's an eagle. Cool. Got a dead deer right there. I don't know if somebody shot him and couldn't find him. He's a buck, so I bet somebody shot him and couldn't find him. He run in here. But pull it up here on the field view. We got a seed treatment trial going on. This wheat's treated with a sand. I just filled up. As you can see, I made one pass up, and right in here is non-treated with a sand, and right here is where I'm starting our sand trial. We had some on some wheat last year, and gonna try it again this year. Dylan's putting the auto steer. He's moving it from the blade tractor into the 4650. I think he got tired of steering. Once you run auto steer, it's kind of hard to go back to life without it. Just, you can keep a better eye on your equipment and just a lot less tired at the end of the day. So we are about 10 acres in, and it's 11 o'clock.
Well, the view might look a little different than it did in here yesterday. I just got to thinking, I like to skip a pass when I'm disking with this crumbler so that you don't have to turn so tight and risk getting the disc in the crumbler. Well, the tractor and the buggy was sitting down there at the end of the field where we finished up cutting beans, and it had the auto steer in it. And just sitting there not being of any use. So I said, you know, it probably won't take 30 minutes at most to pull that out and put in this 50. So that's what I did. And let me tell you guys, it makes life more enjoyable. Cause look, I can YouTube for you guys. No, I'm just kidding. That ain't the reason I done it. But got it set up on 20 foot. This is a I always called it a 21-foot disc all my life, but we got the operator's manual out, and Case IH actually called it a 22-foot disc. But I got my GPS set on 20 foot. One of the faults of these discs is the wings on these smaller models are a little light. So the ends of them kind of want to ride out of the ground. So when you're on hard ground. So, you know, that's the reason I set my GPS a little tighter. In the spring, you can actually set your GPS on 21 foot, and it does a fine job.
It looks like the neighbor up there ripped his bottom. He's done a lot to that bottom. He's cleaned it up, limed it, land leveled it. Bottom is pattern tiled. I mean, if that bottom needed it, he got it, and he's turned it into a really nice bottom. You can see right there where he ripped it, but he's a good farmer. He's done a lot of work to that bottom. It wasn't much when he bought it, but he's done a lot of work to it. Compaction seems to be the word of the year this year.
This farm right here, when you get up on the crest of this hill, it changes soil types. And as you can tell by the disc, there's like more moisture in this ground. You see how it's burying more residue and the disc is cutting deeper? And you can always tell it in the yield too. Up here on the crest of this hill makes way better crop than say right here, about midway to the field. Now, over where Robert is drilling, it changes soil types again into more of a sandy type soil, more white dirt, but it always grows super, even though it's low-lying ground, it always grows super good wheat and soybeans down there. That's part of the reason we're going back into wheat and beans again this year. This farm has never been a real big corn producer, and we feel like we can capture more profit doing wheat and double crop beans again.
What am I doing? I know exactly where that one goes to. Yep, right over there. At least we found it.
This was our best yielding wheat farm last year, and it was going behind corn. You know, we fertilized for 200 bushel corn, and last year in the drought, this corn made 80 bushel. So was a lot leftover fertilizer, and we fertilized it real heavy again. That's where I'm looking at spending my money this coming year is extra fertility. Looking about axing some of these food products we've tried. One thing we done this year was put an extra 100 pound of potash on a few of these farms, and that was our biggest return on investment of anything we done this year. Our soils always test really low on potash, And I think if we can build them levels up, that's money better spent than some of these foo-foo products I call them. At the end of the year, I'm going to do a video called What Paid, and I'm going to talk about all these products I tried this year and give you some real world numbers on what I saw on our farm. Man, that makes life so much nicer. You can see it coming up here, 20 foot, perfect 20 foot pass, and the disc is taking a perfect 20 foot out. I don't have my GoPro, I got my regular Sony cam, and it's not hardly the best camera for these end cap things, but I'll go on and give you a little sneak peek of on that What's Paid video. Two things that made the biggest difference on my farm this year was the ripping and putting an extra 100 pound of potash out.
Well, that could have been bad. Glad we didn't run it up in the combine. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that.
I always like to see two old classic John Deeres out working in the field. "42 years old and still getting the job done." But it's hard to believe that when I was growing up with my granddad riding them, you know, them tractors wasn't but 10-year-old when he was farming. Knocking them acres out. When finish up tonight, I'll run about 80 acres. Robert's probably up there around, well, he just finished that field, so that means he's drilled 48. Starting down here in the bottom. Getting something done, that's what we like to see.
Well, we got a tenth of rain last night, but as dry as we was, it made it a little slick on top, but it's starting to dry out now. Supposed to get some good rain chances this weekend. So we're 23 acres in this field. There's 42, I think, so it should be 19 to 20 acres left. Still got co-op supposed to be bringing the rest of our seed. Should be getting closer running out here pretty soon. Surprised it ain't started beeping at me yet, but got 3 more boxes, 1 more big drill full. Well, I should finish it.
I know y'all disappointed y'all getting me instead of Robert for what could be the final stage of wheat planting. We've already got more weight than we've ever had in the ground. We've dusted it in. And we could possibly have some more. But we got enough weight say left for 28 acres. So I'm trying to decide where I want to put it. Kind of wish I could have found somebody to just buy it off of me, but I mean, I've already got it, and we've been doing real well on wheat the past 3 years, so I'm sure this will be the year that when we go all in on wheat, it'll hang us. Of course, the wheat price ain't what it was. I do have some $7 wheat sold for next year, but right now it's not but $6.03. We really like to see it up there around that $7 mark, and it's even better if it's up around the $8 mark. Something a little different this year. The biggest majority of our wheat is behind soybeans. We've seen a little yield bump putting these beans behind, this wheat behind soybeans. We do still have 40 behind corn stalks. No, actually 45 behind corn stalks.
That's all for wheat 2023. Let Dylan finish it up. Back to the shop we go.